What's going on? Coaching Success Radio, William here, and today I want to talk about how you can get your very first coaching client. As I build my coaching business, I want to know how to effectively serve clients and make more money doing it. This podcast will pull back the curtain to reveal exactly how successful coaches are building their empires. Join me as I engage with top coaches from all over the world to discover their secrets. No theatrics and no theory, just real life strategy. My name is William Winterton, and this is Coaching Success Radio. All right, what's going on? I have a lot of people who ask me all sorts of questions about growing their business, about scaling their business, about getting more money through their coaching, about meeting the right kind of people and improving their pipeline, getting their message out clearer, doing better content marketing, all sorts of stuff. But the number one challenge I hear over and over again is getting clients. How do I get clients? Where do I find clients? Right? That's what keeps us alive in our business, in any kind of a business, right? But especially in coaching, you've got to have a good pipeline of clients coming in. So how do you find those clients? That's a big deal. Now, here's the even bigger question that I get more than that is, William, how do I actually land my very first client? And this is huge because a lot of people, especially if you're in some kind of a coaching course and you're learning how to become a certified coach, they do a lot of stuff in there where you get with groups of other various coaches through, tons of different niches, and you will group up and you'll start coaching each other and helping each other. And you have to get a certain number of coaching hours under your belt. So a lot of people will go in and they'll kind of coach each other. If I'm a financial coach and you're a health and nutrition coach, we might work together and we'll kind of share and kind of give ideas and help each other and coach each other and practice a little bit that way. And that's fantastic. That's super strong, especially if, as you're getting started. I think the more hours you can spend actually going in and having a coaching conversation with somebody, it's going to be more beneficial, no matter who you're coaching, if it's a peer or if it's a family member or whatever. But how do you get that very first coaching client who is not another coach, who is not a family member or a friend? How do you find that person? Well, I'll tell you exactly how I found my very first coaching client. Now this is a little bit of a preface here. I've been coaching for about almost a decade now, 7-8 years, something like that. In real estate, I started off coaching small real estate investors and private lenders, and I did coaching and mentoring for that group of about 400 or 500 different private lenders. I was in a group that kind of group coached and also did some one-on-one mentorship and stuff like that. As I got out of the real estate world and started going into my own business a few years ago, I started coaching small business owners. And I thought what I want to do is focus on local small business owners, and not just any small business. I wanted to start with people who were just like a single member small business or maybe 2 employees. And that was it, like an architect or a plumber or a graphic designer or, in my case, my very first client was a photographer. And the way I landed that coaching job was I knew him for a couple of years. He actually shot photos of my children and a whole bunch of other children for a group that I work with, a youth theater company here in Tucson. And he did headshots for them, and he did live action shots and that sort of thing. So I got to talking with him one day, and I said, man, I could really use some professional headshots for myself. And he said, sure, cool. Went over to his place, got some headshots done that look fantastic. You've seen some of his handiwork actually on my YouTube thumbnails and all sorts of stuff in my work. But he did a great job. I thought it was awesome. In that time, though, I also know he was a very skilled photographer, and yet he was only doing like $300 a month or $400 a month. Very, very small amounts of money, very part-time. And I asked him, I said, do you really enjoy doing photography? And he said, yeah, of course. And I said, do you want to do this full-time and make this your business? And he said, yeah, I'd love to. I don't know how to make that happen. I don't know you can make a life doing that here in Tucson. So he was a substitute teacher, and he worked as a bartender in his off hours, and he, just getting by, worked a couple 3 jobs along with being a photographer, which was his passion. So I said, hey, here's the thing. I'm a coach, I'm a business coach, and I work with small business owners. Would you like to just have some conversations and see if I can help you grow a little bit? And he said, okay, let's just give it a shot. And it was that easy. We just talked. I told him what I did. And I said, look, if you want to start making this a full-time business, I can coach you there. I can get you there if you're interested in going that direction. He said, sure. We had our first conversation call. I did everything that I knew on the scripts that I had and I'd been working with. And within a matter of a few weeks, we'd had a few sessions that he was very on fire, I would say. And by the end of our time, which was only about 2 or 3 months that we actually coached him through a weekly call, he had gone from making about $300 to $400 a month, and he was now making about $1,500 a month just through his business, just not working a whole lot more in terms of hours, but able to just scale himself up and start demanding more from clients because he was niching down, for one thing, and also his self-confidence level was way, way higher than it was whenever I first started working with him. He was nervous about charging higher prices. He was nervous about what people might think if he started, saying no to certain clients, right? So we worked on some stuff. He got some great results, and I made a little bit of money from it. But here's what was bigger was that I had my first client that was not a family member or not another coach that I was working with. This was my first paying client, and it was so exciting. And even more exciting than he got great results. It gave me the confidence to be able to go out and say, okay, you know what? I can do this even further. I can do this with more people, right? And I can help more and more people, because if I can do it one time, I can do it twice. I can do it 5 times. I can do it forever, right? And so I had that business going for a while. I loved it. And then I got into the coaches arena, and I started working with other coaches, and I thought, man, I love this even more. This is even more fun. So that's what I do now is I work with coaches, and it's gotten me to a point where, because of that first interaction with my very first photographer client, I was able to grow and build my confidence, and in turn grow and scale my own business simply by getting out of my own way. Now, here's the challenge that a lot of people face. When you're first getting started, first looking for your very first client, a lot of times, especially if you're going in and getting some coaching training and you're getting certified as a coach, you go through a lot of time that you are learning and studying how to do the coaching, and you're learning the right processes and the right steps, the right questions to ask. You're learning a little bit of marketing, and you're learning a little bit about, positioning yourself. But most of it, you're really just trying to focus on being the best coach you can be. You're trying to get all the right head knowledge there. And that's great, except now you got to apply that somewhere. And when you get out in the real world and you start coaching people, you need to have those resources in your head. You need to be able to have a very good idea of what you're going to do and help somebody through their situation. But you got to actually be able to communicate with a person. You got to listen. You got to practice your ability talking to somebody who doesn't want to just help you grow your coaching business at all. They want to help themselves. Do you understand? It's a very different dynamic. If you're in this to try and help somebody grow their business and get better results in whatever, spirituality, sexual awareness, health, nutrition, whatever it is that you're coaching, nobody that you're going to be working with is going to be interested in you growing and developing your coaching skills. They're only going to be interested in growing, developing, and improving themselves. So the challenge becomes when you're working live with a client, it's a much different arena and feeling than working with somebody who is just helping you to grow your business. So that's part of the fear that we have to overcome as a coach. Am I good enough? Do I have what it takes to work with somebody on the outside? So here are some ideas, and I pulled some ideas offline. I ran a couple of posts in a variety of different coaching Facebook groups, and I got some great responses here. I'm going to share just 3 of these with you. I just asked how you, the coach, got your first clients, and what strategies are out there to get a very first client. Again, the people I work with tend to have a few clients under their belt, and they're just looking to scale from where they are to reaching 5 figures a month in their business. A lot of times I don't take on clients who who have no coaching clients and no coaching history outside of working in a group, like a group of coaches in their training, for that very reason. It's getting out of your own way and getting out of your own mind junk. And a lot of that is a very different animal than going and working with somebody who has worked with people, but now just has to get that confidence and really narrow in to start developing and growing their coaching business to higher levels of success. So that's kind of a delineation between what I do and who I do and don't work with. Likewise, when you're getting started, the first best and probably most effective way to find somebody as your very first coaching client is just to simply go and ask. Go onto Facebook. Let people know what you do. Be super specific about what it is that your coaching business serves, who they serve, and ask. Get referrals from people. Get people to engage with you on Facebook groups. Get people to engage with you on, any kind of a post, any kind of a group feed, or any kind of a live video, or anything that you can engage with other coaches, or rather, I guess not coaches, engaging with people who are in your niche. So, for example, if you are out in the spiritual wellness niche and you've got a really specific niche of what you're serving. Let's say you're serving people who are super busy professionals who are super successful, make a lot of money, but are really lacking in their spiritual life. You can go and find Facebook groups who have those exact people. You start having conversations with them and you start engaging, and then just letting people know, look, this is who I work with. If anybody, is interested in having those conversations, you need to just simply go out and let people know what you do, make it clear. And eventually you get to a point where you're asking people like, look, do you know anybody who struggles with this? Do you see anybody who struggles with this? A difficult thing about going into a Facebook group and just asking for referrals is that you've got to be really aware of what the rules are of the group. So engaging with people is really the best way to go there. When I'm talking about getting referrals, I'm talking about going onto your personal Facebook group, Facebook page, or your business page, and just letting people know, here's what I do. I help busy professionals who are trying to, get a spiritual awareness, and whatever your dialed down elevator speech is, let people know exactly what it is and say, do you know anybody who falls in this category who might be able to use some help, who might benefit from having a few conversations with somebody like myself who is, able to help and serve somebody like that. Just a real quick, easy introduction. You would be surprised at how many people might raise their hands and say, you know what, I actually know somebody you might want to reach out to, or you know what, I might be somebody you want to reach out to. If you don't ask, you're not gonna make it known, and you'll never receive it. So the first biggest challenge you have to overcome is being willing to go out there and just ask, what can I do for you? Who out here would be somebody who would benefit from my services? Is there anybody that you know who would benefit from my services? Be super specific on what it is that you do. And I think that's a great first step in terms of trying to find your very first coaching client. Another way to get coaching clients is to just over deliver in these Facebook groups. So again, I talked about on your personal page, going in and letting people know what it is that you do, asking for referrals, asking people to send referrals your direction, or if they need any help. But when you're in a Facebook group, or you're in some kind of an online group community, the best way to really help and serve is to find people who are in the exact niche that you serve, watch their questions, watch their posts, see what they're talking about, see what they're struggling with, go in, interact, answer their questions, and help them, and help to put yourself out there, not trying to sell anything, but as an expert in what you're talking about. For example, again, you're talking with, let's say your niche is working with busy professionals who are really struggling because they don't have any spiritual life, and they don't have, they're lost and they're searching, and they're just not sure where to look. You're in a group of people who are busy professionals. You may see conversations like that, or you may even just ask the question, hey, I actually was talking to a friend of mine, busy professional, works this and that job. He was talking about there's a lot of struggles that he feels in terms of his own identity and his own self-worth. Is anybody else struggling with that? Does anything, does that resonate with anybody? Ask those kind of open-ended questions. You're not asking for business. You're not asking for somebody to reach out to you to pay you money to get coaching. You're asking to see if the waters are warm and see if there's anybody who resonates with that. Because you need to know if that's even a niche that's going to be, that group's going to be able to supply you or not. So going out, engaging with people who are in your target market, and creating a position that you are an authority in this market, an authority in your field, is really an amazing way to start growing your connections. Start, again, branding yourself as somebody who can help and serve, not just somebody who's out there to try and make money and trying to grow clients, okay? That's ultimately what you're trying to do. But that's not what you need to come across as at all. You need to be somebody who's genuinely interested in helping. And the other thing about this is you actually have to be genuinely interested in helping. You can't fake this, all right? If you're really in this and you're like, I just want to make a lot of money and get a lot of clients, and you don't have a real strong interest in serving, I'm just going to tell you right now, coaching may not be the business for you. This is not a business where you can get into it halfway and just decide, I'm going to kind of help out. If it's going to make me a lot of money, I'm going to do whatever it takes. People see through it. Your clients are going to see through it. The results are not going to be there. You're going to have a very, very challenging time when things don't go well. And when you aren't making a lot of money, you're going to give up very quickly. The only way to survive in this industry is really be passionate about the people that you're serving. More passionate about serving them than you are about actually getting paid. When you get to that point and you're serving and you're giving so much value because you want to see people get results, when you're at that point, people are going to recognize that. They're going to identify that personality and character trait with you. They're going to connect those dots. And pretty soon, once that happens, you're going to start having people asking to be friends. They're going to go onto LinkedIn and be connecting with you because they want to be a part of your world, and they're going to want to be a part of what you stand for. And sooner than later, you'll start attracting clients to you just by that very nature of your willingness to serve and not just to be self-serving. Does that make sense? I hope so. And there's one more that I want to share with you right now. It's to, let's see, I had a whole bunch of these written on this sheet here. Okay, yeah, the other one here is, like I said, just go out into the world and meet people face to face, like I did. This is how I started working with my photographer. We didn't meet online. I'd known him for a while, and it was a face-to-face conversation. This is really a very overlooked way to find clients, but if you're looking for your brand new first client, it's not a bad idea to get some connection with people face-to-face, one-on-one. It's a lot more power sometimes going in and having somebody right in front of you. A three-dimensional, real-world experience with somebody is a much more in-depth and intense conversation than even having a one-on-one call on Zoom or Skype. The reason is because it's not done as much anymore. People do so many things online that whenever you break that barrier and you come off as a real person and you start engaging with people for real, one-on-one, in their face, you can have a lot deeper conversation a lot quicker. All right. So some of the strategies for this, if you are in any meetup groups, if you are in any kind of, it depends on what your niche is, of course, but in a meetup group, in any kind of a network marketing, like a networking group, if you're in some kind of a Business Networkers International, if you're a business coach, if you're in a financial group, if you're a financial coach, if you're in a health and fitness coach, go to a gym, go to a place where people congregate, that people talk about this stuff. Start building relationships there with people and get your name and word out that this is what you do, right? This is such an overlooked strategy, but man, I'll tell you what, I've actually, even today, I still find clients now who are coaches who I meet. I just go out and have lunch with other coaches that are local to Tucson. And the people that I've connected with, not all of them are clients of mine now, but man, I have made incredible relationships with people simply by having a face-to-face lunch conversation with somebody. And it is almost more powerful than anything else I do, because now I've got a relationship, and it's a very tangible relationship with somebody that sometimes takes a few days and a number of connections to get that same level of intimacy with somebody when you're online. So going out and meeting people, going out and introducing yourself to people in large groups, and just having something in place as far as, like I like to call the elevator pitch. I know people have heard that phrase before. But when people ask what you do, have a very clear, succinct answer. Tell them what it is that you do. Explain the benefits of what you offer. Explain the problem you solve. Give a quick example. Keep it under like 15, 20 seconds. Tell people what it is and let them understand that, look, this is what I do. This is for real. This is who I serve. And it's amazing the conversations that open up when you are dialed in to what it is that you are actually doing and who it is you're actually serving. So with that being said, I want to just encourage you, if you've not had your very first client yet that is paying you, don't give up, don't freak out. And for certain, do not get to a point where you're so worried about being perfect with your very first client that you don't take any action. Okay, that is a deadly, deadly mistake. Instead, I would encourage you to go out, start making connections online, social media, one-on-one, face-to-face. I would just start reaching out to people. They're not in this to judge how good of a coach you are. All right, nobody is going to be watching you in terms of like, okay, did they follow the steps that were in the coaching curriculum whenever they started learning how to become a certified coach? There was this idea on chapter 3 about really, they're not going to care about that. All they care about is solving their problem. All right, and if you can help guide them towards a solution for their problem, they're immediately going to see you as the expert. That's all there is to it. That is the big secret, is that you don't focus on what you can or can't do. You focus on them, on their problem, and helping them overcome that. That alone will get you so crystal clear on what it is that you offer that you're going to be able to book your first client as soon as possible, maybe even in the next week or two if you haven't ever done one before. So I challenge you right now, take some action, take some steps, be super clear, ask people for referrals, ask people for some clients, ask people to help you out. and see what you get. I'm excited for you. Thank you so much. I hope you are super excited about this podcast. If you like this, I would love it if you would subscribe. I'd love it if you would let everybody who is a coach know about this. We have so much great content coming out here in the next few weeks. I am super, super excited, and I am really, really happy that you joined me today, and I'll see you next time. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. New episodes are coming out every few days, including lots of conversations with massively successful coaches sharing their secrets with you. So be sure to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel so that you don't miss out. And if you're looking for a way to start making serious money from your coaching, you need to check out my free training. It's at williamwinterton.com. I lay out the step-by-step on how to start making 5 figures a month in the next 60 days. Check it out, williamwinterton.com. I'll see you next time.